Hi, my name is Candace Jones, and I'm an attorney. I practice family law and dependency. Dependency is the fancy name for Child Protective Services, DCFS if you're in LA County. So I deal with pretty much things that are going to be related to your family: legal guardianships, adoptions, child custody and visitation, and like I said, DCFS. So if you're dealing with those issues, hopefully this video is going to be helpful to you in finding out about the services that I provide. So I'm assuming that if you've found this video, you're probably in one of two camps. You're either in the camp where you just came out of court or found out information and you're thinking, okay, this has finally gotten a little bit over my head, and I think I need an attorney that's going to be able to help me figure this out, and I'm finally willing to pay somebody to help me solve my problems. And you're probably thinking, I wish these people listed out their prices on a menu so at least I knew what I was getting into instead of having to make the phone call and figure out. And, I understand that because I think the same way sometimes when I'm researching certain things. And the explanation is it's kind of like a car, your cases. If there's a problem with your car, you go into the mechanic and, they give you this quote, look, this is what we think is wrong, and it's going to take us a couple hours to fix it, come back, or sit around and drink bad coffee. And it'll be done sooner or later. That is nice when it's accurate, right? So I've also been there when they come back out an hour later and they say, oh, well, we found this problem, and so now the cost is 3 times as much as you originally thought. Those are not fun days. But that can happen in a case where, we sit down, we talk about the case, we're like, okay, this is what the areas that we see that are wrong, and then as you start working on the case, things can blow up and it can be additional costs. However, it can also be less, right? Because if you start working on the case and then maybe another party cools down, they find another boo, whatever, and then they don't want to fight anymore, and then you resolve the case pretty simply. So it's just hard to give you exact quotes, and so that's why I can't do a menu. Sorry about that. But you could also be in the second category where you are just proactive and you are Googling around because perhaps you want to start a case, or perhaps you're in the beginning stages of a case and you want a little more information about what things look like. And good for you. So you may be evaluating whether or not you think you need an attorney at this stage in the case as well. So that being said, I offer about 3 different services. So there's the traditional services, which have been around, for as long as attorneys have probably been around. And that's where you hear that word retainer, and you give a chunk of change to an attorney, and then they bill at their hourly rate. So as they're working on the case, they pay themselves out of that retainer, and one day the retainer's gone, and then maybe they ask you for more money, right? The other way is, though, and this is something particularly I see in California, well, only in California because that's where I'm licensed to practice. But there's more of a push towards flat fees and limited scope. So a flat fee says, all right, this is what I think the case is going to take. This is the flat fee to handle, this aspect of your case. And that's also known as limited scope because you're saying this is what I'm going to handle for you at a flat fee. And those can be interchanged, and there's different ways to work that out. One of the ways that I do that is through a workshop. So I provide workshops, they're one-on-one, and so in different aspects of a case, you may have an issue with how to start a case. Once you're inside the case, maybe you have an issue with child custody, maybe it's child support, maybe it's spousal support, maybe you have a trial coming up and you need to prepare for it, and the judge just gave you this sheet that says you need witness list and exhibit list and a trial brief all 10 days before the hearing, or whatever the statutory time is based on which courtroom you're in. So those are workshops that we can provide to help you and assist you with that, and so you can get the strategy that you need to go forward, get your paperwork completed, so you feel confident and ready to go before the judge. And then the last thing we offer is private mediation. So if you've been Googling, try Googling the average cost of, let's say, a contested divorce in California. You'll find that's right around $20,000 in attorney's fees, and that is per side. So if you are the type of person that says, I would rather use that money for my child's college fund or a cruise or, anything, but to spend on fighting, then mediation's a good idea. But it does take both parties having that mindset and wanting to resolve the case, in a relatively short period of time by just working out an agreement rather than spending years of your life fighting in court, because you just court. And I'm an attorney and I'm there all the time. So court dates get continued. When court dates get continued, generally, based on the court calendar, you're looking at 60 to 90 days very easily. So things stretch out, and it can take some time to get some resolution. Court is absolutely necessary because there are just cases that need to court because certain people just are going to need a judge to make decisions. But if you're not one of those people and you can agree and figure things out, mediation is a great idea. So I hope this video has been helpful, and I hope you found out some information that you're looking for, and feel free to contact me if you need some assistance.